Robert Neher Lewis, 1838 to 1915, and Helen Shook Lewis, 1835 to 1901, buried at St. Paul's Lutheran Cemetery in Red Hook, in the center, in the back of the church, on the south side of the path near the rounded Curtis Monument. The blue hue of Lewis's monument draws one's eye, as does the lettering of the last name Lewis, shaped like wooden twigs. Knocking lightly on its surface will reveal this monument is made of zinc, otherwise known as white bronze. In 1902, this option was advertised in the local paper as, quote, practically indestructible and, quote, cheaper than granite. Purchasers would place custom orders through a catalog, assisted by local agent R.N. Lewis. Neither the ad nor the monument itself tells us what the name of the company was, but only the Monumental Bronze Company of Bridgeport, Connecticut offered such memorials. Despite zinc monuments' popularity at the time, Lewis's would appear to be the only one of its kind in this cemetery. The three sides of the memorial depict faith, hope, and charity. Helen Shook Lewis's years of birth and death are listed, but her husband Robert's death is not acknowledged. It can be assumed that if people close to Robert had outlived him, they could have had Robert's year of death added to the memorial. Compounding this hurdle to posterity, in 1915, the Monumental Bronze Company was commandeered by the government for use in World War I to make gun mounts and munitions. For whatever reason, the date of his death is not present. The memory of Robert Lewis lives on, as the Lewis Monument does. Robert Neher Lewis was the son of Jacob P. Lewis and Catherine Neher of Red Hook. He married Helen Shook. Robert and Helen were listed in the 1860 census as living in Red Hook when Helen was 20 and Robert, 22, was a laborer. They were neighbors of Thomas Pallmeyer and Aaron Shook until the 1860s when they moved to Shodak in Rensselaer County, New York, where for a few decades Robert worked as a gardener and florist. When they returned to Red Hook sometime after 1880, he took up farming. Robert was a member of the Griffin Fire Company and the Agricultural Club. He often showed vegetables he'd grown at various fairs and took first place a few times in the 1890s. In 1897, the Agricultural Club held a meeting at Robert and Helen's home with the topic, "To what extent should the farmer become a student, and what should he study?" He held the position of vice president for Red Hook of the Sunday School Association in 1904. Lydia E. Shook, Helen's unmarried sister, born in 1857, was a lace maker and lived with Helen and Robert as of 1900, perhaps to help out her older sister. Helen Shook Lewis died at home in Red Hook on April 28, 1901, after a protracted illness at 65 years of age. Robert died at Vassar Hospital on September 15, 1915, at 78 years of age. They did not have any children.